Hello everyone, future and current traders. In today's video, I want to tell you about prop firms, what they are, how to make money with them, and how you can earn much more in cryptocurrency with minimal risk. So today I'm going to tell you about the prop firm called HashHedge. If you've already heard of it, let me know in the comments if you've worked with them and what you've heard. If we look at its ratings on TrustPilot, the score is 4.7 out of 5 from 116 reviews. So we can go in here, read them, and we'll check them all out. Getting back to HashHedge, what is a prop firm if you don't know? It's a company that gives you money to manage. So, for example, let's switch to the chart, say for Bitcoin, and let's break down the real numbers for this year. Right now, according to statistics, the average deposit on an exchange is $1,000. So, with an initial investment of $1,000, how much could you potentially earn from trading cryptocurrency? You can write your thoughts or ideas in the comments if you have an idea. If not, then let me tell you that on average, you can make 30% a month from trading with average risk. 30% of our $1,000 is about 300 bucks. What is 300 bucks in today's world? Well, let's be honest, it's nothing. That's very little money for the amount of work you put in, for the amount of time you spend trading. It's catastrophically low. And that's exactly what prop trading is for. Basically, it's there so you can take money to manage and trade with it. So we've already gone over the situation where if you go to a crypto exchange and trade on your own with, say, $1,000, you'll make $300. But let's break down what happens if you take that same $1,000 and put it into the prop firm HashHedge. Here we can look at the different options, and let's take, well, a sort of middle option, $25,000 to manage. This will only cost you $249. So let's say we have a $1,000 deposit on the exchange, but we'll send 249 of those dollars to HashHedge, the prop firm, and for that, they'll give us $25,000 to manage. So we open up the calculator, and to our $25,000, we add that same 30%. I mentioned you can make on average per month from trading. That gives us $32,500, meaning you'll earn $7,500. See, if we subtract the $25,000 we're managing, you'll have earned $7,500. So let's write that down, $7,500. HashHedge takes a 20% cut of the profit, just to be fair. That comes out to $6,000. Let's correct that, $6,000. So now you can do the math yourselves. You invested $249 in trading. A month later, you have $6,000. That's a lot more than 30%. You can calculate it yourself, or we can just divide $6,000 by 249 bucks. That's roughly a 24x return. So just imagine it. You put in $249 and get $6,000. That's a 24x return. Where can you get that kind of return? In crypto, you can only get that kind of return if you get lucky with some memcoin. But in trading, getting that kind of return means taking on very high risks, which I do not recommend. With a prop firm, however, you can earn that kind of money without taking on high risks. If we take, for example, the $100,000 challenge for 800 bucks, then you can earn, well, you can do the math many times more. On top of that, a prop firm also develops a certain, discipline. Discipline in the sense that you don't trade with high leverage, and you don't trade with a large position size. And now let's talk in more detail about the prop firm itself. Of course, the company won't just give you all that money to manage right away. To get it, you need to pass 2 stages of the challenge. The plan you choose is called a challenge. And once we've bought it for, say, $249, we see that we need to pass 2 stages. The first stage is to make an 8% profit, and in the second stage, we need to make a 6% profit. So in total, that's about a 14% profit. Only after that do you prove to the company that you're a profitable trader, that you understand what you're doing, and you move on to the third stage. There, you're trading with those real funds, and you take 80% of the profit from those trades. But there are also limitations. You don't just have to show a profit, there are also restrictions. If you lose 5% of your allocated deposit in a single day, that is, from the $25,000, then this challenge, this management account is taken away from you. This applies to all 3 stages. This is exactly what I was talking about regarding discipline. It's an excellent way to discipline yourself and not trade with high leverage, which is impossible here anyway, or with a large position size. And there's also a limitation that isn't daily, but an overall one, meaning If you have $25,000 under management and you lose $2,500 over the entire period, then this challenge is taken from you. Here it's 10%, and in the second and third stages, it's 8%. If you lose 8 to 10%, the challenge is taken away. But again, if you've taken any amount to manage, you don't have to pay it back. All you lose, if, for example, you lose 10%, you lose the amount that you paid. You won't have to pay 5,000, 25, or 100,000. You only pay the amount you paid, and there is also a limitation in the form of minimum trading days, which is 5. But again, if you trade actively, I think this is not critical here. Moreover, you can simply open a position one day, hold it for a minute, and then close it. This will already be protective, like a trading day, a trading period, and without restrictions, and the maximum leverage at all stages is 5. You can go to the website, check it out. The link will be in the description. Here again, you can play with the calculator, calculate how much you can earn, look at various reviews, read, and if you have any questions, you can do that too. Here you can study all of this. Absolutely all the answers are here. Well, let me show you. You go through the whole thing. You can follow the link. I'll leave it there in the dry where you can buy a challenge with 15% cashback. That is, even if you buy a challenge for $10,000, you will get $15 back from $100 on the exchange. This is what the platform looks like after registration. Here you can view accounts, payments, payouts, and assistance. I'm currently running a $100,000 challenge. And let's move on. I'll show you. The terminal, what it looks like inside, this is what the terminal looks like. It is quite similar to the finance one in its coloring and overall classic layout. Here we have an analysis of the trading view type, which he showed there a few minutes ago, where he described the entire trading logic. Here you can basically draw anything you want, like a Fibonacci grid or any other values for opening positions. In other words, you can draw absolutely everything here that you can in the TradingView service. Choose timeframes. Here we can select the coin we need. There are more than 160 of them, which is generally enough for trading. Here we can also see the glass. Here we select the type of margin, isolated or cross. The shoulder, as I said, is at most the 5th, which will prevent you from having big shoulders. We can open the calculator, destroy our entire position, and understand where we will have a loss in money and where we will have a profit. Accordingly, here we can place a limit order at the market and a trigger order. And now we have a slider, or we can manually write here the amount for which we will open a position. After that, choose what percentage of the deposit to open the position with and click either open a short position or open a long position. I now have an open short position on Ether, as you can see, with this kind of return. We've had a pretty good drop, and I think we'll go somewhere further to around $3,000. So the position is open. I'm waiting for it to play out now. Here you can also set a take profit stop loss. For example, $3,000. I enter, and we can see that I'll earn about $2,500. You can also set a stop, but I'll be actively monitoring the position, and if anything, I'll close it manually. That's probably all I wanted to tell you about the prop firm HashHedge. When you buy the challenge with the promo code DUBROVETS, you'll get a 15% cashback, as I mentioned. So I recommend you go ahead, buy the challenge, participate, earn much more, and with much less risk. So here, for example, if you have $1,000, as I said, you allocate a quarter, send $250 to the challenge, and your amount is already multiplied by 25 times. Consequently, you're already working with a much larger deposit and thus earning much more. If you fail the challenge, you still have, for example, 3 more attempts. But if we take classic trading where you have $1,000 and, for example, you enter one large position, that's bad because you'll most likely just lose that money. You'll get liquidated because you didn't calculate the risk or used high leverage. But with HashHedge, as I said, it builds discipline and allows us to earn much more. So the link is in the description. Go ahead, use it, and earn much more. And don't forget to leave a comment about what you thought of this video. If it was helpful, something interesting, maybe you're already working with HashHedge and you can leave some feedback.